Hey everyone. I've been trying to get it together to have a presentation with PowerPoint slides and so forth on the short forms for this learning modules assignment, commentary or position paper, but I have not been able to do so, so I thought I would just give you some remarks that might help you as you're drafting that portion of the assignment. So with our last assignment, with the fact-based genres of the report, and then your short form, either the fact sheet or brief, you actually took the content of your report and you turned it into a shorter form. And that's the same as this learning modules assignment, where you're taking either the long form, the commentary, and or position paper, and turning it into a short form, either a fact sheet or a rebuttal. So let me say, not fact sheet, sorry, a letter to the editor or rebuttal. Let me just say a few words about each of those short forms. Letters to the editor are typically written to publications, the editor of the publication. The audience is, more broadly, generally speaking, the readership of that publication. So, the most typical place that you'll see letters to the editor is in a newspaper, although you'll find them also in magazines and other kinds of journals. The letter to the editor is usually occasioned by some content that appeared in that publication. So someone might be responding to a story. They might have quibbles or a divergent opinion on that story, or the way it was reported, or information they think is not taken into account or missing. They may also be responding to an editorial position, a commentary written by the newspaper's editors. Typically, the form of the letter to the editor rehearses the occasion for the letter. That is, are you responding to a story? Are you responding to an editorial? Do you want generally to express your view on public events or events that are of concern to the readership? Then you state your case or view, offer brief documentation or evidence for why that's reasonable. Obviously, you don't document the way you would document, say, a report. And then you may want to make a gesture at people who disagree with you to show why your opinion is reasonable or preferable. And then you sum up your case. Generally, the letter to the editor is very brief. If you look on the reading page for this learning module, you'll see that there's a link to the letters to the editor page of the New York Times, so you can sort of see what the typical length for a letter is. Now, a rebuttal is maybe a slightly more targeted type of response to someone else's argument. So it may take the form of a letter, or it may take the form of a sort of response to someone's article. I've seen that, for instance, in scholarly journals, where a writer wants to offer a divergent view on a piece that appeared in a previous issue. So in a rebuttal, you're in a more focused way, you're taking on the argument of someone else, and it's more directly a response to the argument of someone else. So typically in a rebuttal, you must summarize the opinion or the view of the person to whom you're responding. The ethics of argument suggest that you should respond, or that you should summarize that view in a neutral and fair way. In other words, you don't want to mischaracterize the person's argument, partly because that damages your own ethos. That is, it damages the credibility of your own argument in response to their argument. Then typically in a rebuttal, you may want to sort of summarize the points that you're going to take on, and then you will often do that point by point, although like in lots of comparison type of pieces of writing, you can either do it point by point, or you can do it in more globally. You can say, they say this globally, and then you say, but I say this globally. Or you can say, they say this, but I say this. They say this, but I say this. That is point by point. That's what a rebuttal is. Again, just like with any piece of writing, you want to think about what the audience and purpose of your document would be, and try and frame your argument and your design of the document accordingly. Well, I hope this is helpful to you as you draft these short pieces to go along with your commentary or position paper, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do.